So, electrocardiogram, EKGs. I don't think you guys really go into EKGs too much here, besides just identifying different types of stuff. But I don't think there's any talk of like axes and whatever. So, if you consider this a normal EKG, that's what everything's going to talk about. So let's just let's go through this bit by bit. Conduction pathway. Where do things go? Things go to the SA node. That's where everything starts. Quickly zips over to the atria before it goes to the AV node. Okay. In this AV node, there's a little bit of a delay, and then it goes to the bundle of His, splits off into the left and right bundle branches, and then you got your Purkinje fibers and whatever going everywhere else. Okay. So Sinoatrial node. Here we go. Right atrium and the superior vena cava. Yeah, and that's actually exactly where it is. There's no point in me saying that because it's written right here. The only important real thing about this is that it's the pacemaker, meaning that that's the thing that sets the pace. Duh. And you actually have a lot of different you don't have a lot of different pacemakers, but for example, the AV node will act as a pacemaker if the SA node doesn't work. So if you have some sort of problem with, your sinoatrial node, for whatever reason, if it's not firing, your AV node is set to fire if your SA node doesn't fire. Now, the electrical relationship between this is kind of cool. When the SA node fires, it ends up blocking the automaticity of the AV node. However, this automaticity of the AV node will self-engage if it's not stopped by the SA node. Now, of course, the SA node is set to fire more frequently than the AV node, but that's not the intricacies of that isn't really a step one kind of thing. Here we go. Yeah, SA node. It fires faster than the AV node, which will fire faster than everything else. Your bundles, Purkinje fibers, and the ventricles. And then the speed of conduction. This is kind of important in the sense that it will be tested. Obviously, your Purkinje fibers, which cover like the entire heart here, they have to go real fast. So in that sense, it's kind of easy to remember. What else are we looking at here? P-wave, atrial depolarization. Okay. Really quickly, segments or isoelectronic. PR segment, isoelectronic. ST segment, isoelectronic. Okay. So, I guess this is kind of technical, but I'm actually going to get into why you have a positive P wave, why you have a positive T wave. It kind of goes. This is the way the heart is, right? And if you were to draw this, kind of the direction of everything, things kind of flow in this general direction. All right. And so when you're determining the shape of a wave, you really have to determine if things are going, towards it or away from it. It all has to do with where each lead is placed. On second thought, I might do this later, just because, like, if you're not familiar with a 12-lead EKG, if you're not familiar where everything goes 2, 3 AVF, AVL, AVR, all that stuff, then this won't really make any sense. So I'm just going to hold off on this a bit, but in case for those who are curious out there, if you're able to figure out why the P wave and why the T wave are both positive, and what makes a wave positive on an EKG, of course depending on the lead, then I think you've really hit the hammer on the head, hit the nail on the head. I think that means you really understand the electrophysiology of all this stuff. But I don't think it's important for step 1, so I know I've just blabbered on for 2 minutes about it, but just forget it. Don't forget about it, but that's not what I'm doing. I'm not here to really teach all this cool stuff. I'm just here to go over things and make things kind of easy to understand, I guess. Alright, so back to the beginning. P wave, atrial depolarization. Okay, way cool. The PR interval, well, it has to do from whenever you've got the depolarization to the depolarization of the ventricles. Okay. And just remember that every wave, so the Q wave, R wave, S wave, it's pretty much bound by this isoelectronic point when it goes up or down and then reaches it back again. So that's the Q wave. Here's the R wave, kind of. And here's the S wave. And you'll notice that each of these waves starts at 0 and ends at 0. And that's pretty much what these waves will do. Sometimes, obviously, if you got things like ST segment elevations or depressions, then they won't really go back to 0. But it's a little nuanced for now. In any case, between the QT interval, you have a whole bunch of stuff going on. Obviously, in the QRS complex, you're going to have depolarization between the beginning of depolarization and the end of repolarization of the ventricles. You're going to have contraction, and that's what T waves are, ventricular repolarization, and the J point, whatever, end of the QRS, beginning of the ST segment. And you'll know that if you have ST segment elevation, that's bad news. Okay. Hypokalemia U-Wave. This is really a bummer of a slide, to be honest, just because there's a lot more stuff in depth that we can get into. However, I don't think that it's a step 1 material. So, yeah. All right.